Thanks. All right. Call to order the meeting of the Sanborn Regional Board. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. All right. If no one is opposed, I would like to move the cheer recognition up to right now. Our cheer coach has work to get to, so we'd like to get that going for her.
Happy to.
Everybody okay?
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. We're ready.
That's me.
That's you.
So we're here tonight to recognize the fall spirit team from the high school, co-ed spirit team, although there's all girls on our team, for their finishing second at the state championships, which is the highest they have ever finished, tied for highest that we've ever finished in our program's history. And we have a whole bunch of fabulous young women back there, and they're going to formally present this plaque to Principal Mitchison after I drag their coach up here, who really, really hates speaking in front of crowds. And she introduced the team. So girls, why don't you guys come on up, and you can line up kind of behind me over here. And their coach is Alyssa Rayrauer, who's been with us since the pandemic. You'll see this group. I don't know, is everybody here or not? Nobody's missing? Oh, that's no good. But we started in the fall of 2020 with 4 kids on the team. And in our gym this afternoon during practice today, I believe there's 28 of them in there, to the point where I have to hire another coach. But that's okay. We can work on that. So Coach Rayrauer is going to introduce the girls on the team, and then the captains are going to hand over the plaque to their principal.
I'm going to use my list so I don't forget any of them. Not that I think that I'm going to. So we have 13 kids on the team that we had from the fall. So we have 2 captains. So Anna D'Amato and Gwen Libby. Then Soli Acevedo, Alora Gates, Vivian Flynn, Katie Stalker, Anna Barlow, Cadence Stevens, Ashley Marlowe, Kellyanna Dow, Emma McGregor, Maya Dotsey, and Chloe Taylor. And that's my 13. I'm unprepared. I apologize.
Jen's going to go up and take it. And we'll be hanging out on the wall outside the girls' locker room, well, forever.
Yay. That's great.
All right. This is a wonderful accomplishment.
Thank you.
Congratulations, girls. You make Sanborn really proud.
Yeah. Hey, back to practice.
Practice is over, Bob. Come on. Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations. Great job.
Girls.
Hey, Dawn. Have Jen do the student council representative.
Oh, yeah.
Here, the student council rep is.
Jen, would you like to do the student council rep report while you're here?
I can.
Thought she's gonna sit in her spot.
I know.
Nice. That's awesome.
Just for a minute. So Rebecca couldn't be here tonight. So she shared with me some updates that she received about what's going on this round at the high school, mostly at the high school, a little bit of middle school. Winter sports have started this week, except the bowling team, who starts this coming Saturday, December 2nd. So that's really exciting. Looking forward to seeing all the teams this winter. Applied woodworking students built a Gaga pit for Memorial. So that was sort of a combined effort with some students at Memorial and some of our students here. The Memorial PTO donated the wood. So that was really awesome and very generous of them. Here at the high school, River Defio and Crystal Corm have been selected to participate in the New Hampshire All-State Music Festival. So that's very exciting. Last year we just had, I think we had 1. So this year we have 2. So the idea is to continue to build the program and to keep on having students participate in the festival. And then this coming Tuesday, December 5th, the middle school and high school have their band concerts. Middle school starts at 6 and the high school will immediately follow at 7. Folks get here early. I think last year it was standing room only at the middle school portion of that band concert. So, and then chorus will be the following Tuesday. And then of course there are snow dates on the Thursdays if we happen to have any inclement weather. And that's all I have from the student report update.
Thank you.
So much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Getting back to the agenda. Do I have a motion or an action on the minutes for November 1st, 23?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any comments? All right. All in favor? Unanimous. Great. Thank you. All right. Manifest documents are going around. Tom, nominations and resignations.
Very happy to nominate Charlene Lavoy for special education teacher at the high school.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Okay.
And I have one resignation, Robert O'Neill, 5th grade teacher at Memorial.
Make a motion to accept with regrets.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right, that's your report.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a couple of quick things. Number one, I wanted to read this wonderful email that we recently received. This was to Miss Mitchison. My child was one of the students who spent the last couple of weeks getting scuba certified. We just want to let you know what a wonderful job that the teachers did. Mr. Gray, even though he was busy also getting certified, was very helpful making sure that the kids had their tanks and equipment correct. Mr. Enright was thankfully on our on-land person at Merry Meeting Pond. I don't think he stopped for 1 second on both days at Merry Meeting Pond. He brought weights down to the water and every piece of scuba equipment that the students forgot and was there for. There was quite a few that got into the water without a mask or fins. I'm envisioning these high school kids doing this. Fun. Yeah. Oh, you were there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So he helped the kids and the unknowledgeable parents who were trying to help the kids, AKA probably the person that wrote this email and maybe someone else I know, connect their tanks, connect and put on their tanks correctly. He brought hand warmers to the kids to warm up their hands. He brought a table and food so that the kids had something to eat. In addition to that, he managed to get pictures of each student coming out of the water and certification pictures after. After an exhausting day on Saturday, he took all of our group's air tanks back to Portsmouth Scuba to be refilled for Sunday so the kids could go home and warm up. Most importantly, I saw him checking in with each student to make sure that they were doing okay and didn't have any questions or need additional help. I think I can speak for all the parents that we were so grateful he was there for our children to make sure that they were okay and properly suited up before going into that water. Sanborn is very lucky to have two very wonderful teachers, Mr. Gray and Mr. Enright. We're so glad that they're both volunteering to rub the Submariners and really appreciate all that they did for these kids this weekend. So it was really cool. I also wanted to take a minute to give another shout out to some staff. We had a very unusual situation occur on the Thursday before Thanksgiving. The math team was traveling home that night in the school district van and they struck a deer. And I just wanted to publicly thank Doc Young for his calm and measured demeanor in the situation. And I also wanted to publicly thank Bob Dawson and Jennifer Mitchison for driving out to give kids rides home and to make sure that everyone was all set. Miss Mitchison was scheduled to go on a trip that next morning to fly out, and she left packing to go take care of the kids. This is what makes our school special. And it makes me proud to be here and happy to be here every day. So I just wanted to say thank you to folks for stepping up and helping kids and families to have an incredible experience at the Sanborn Regional School District.
Thank you. All right. Do I have any subcommittee reports?
I'll go. Thank you. So the Public Relations Subcommittee met this evening. And although much of the meeting was in non-public, I can talk about the three topics that were addressed in the meeting. And those were the teacher contracts, what's happening with Fremont, as well as our budget. And what I wanted to, what I shared in the subcommittee and what I wanted to share to this group and the public here is that although at this juncture, our communications have been measured, they've been appropriate given what we can share, given the status of the negotiations, and where things are at for each one of these pieces. But behind the scenes, the PR subcommittee has been very busy with narratives, drafting communications, sending out communications, and really doing the work of the district here. So been very busy behind the scenes, and as soon as we can, we will share more as those things evolve. But that was our meeting this evening.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. First public comment. Okay. All right. Well, then it goes right to second public comment. So yes.
John, do
Yeah.
we want to, and do we do a second comment after the old business?
You can move that if you'd like to.
We can.
I'm just thinking there might be. I don't know if
Yeah.
we're allowed. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. And I also know we had talked about moving the non-public, if no one is opposed, moving the non-public up to the next order of business before we go into the budget deliberations. Just want to kind of do a quick update to the board so that we have all the information before we go into that deliberation. So if no one is opposed to that, we'll run into a quick non-public if someone wants to call us in there.
I can
Promise
move
we
us-
won't be very long. We just want to do a quick update so everybody has all the information before we deliberate.
Move us into non-public RSA 91-A semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, CK.
Second?
Second.
Great. All right. Roll call in. Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. All right.
You.
Okay,
Not
so we are back and so next on the agenda is the fiscal year 24-25 budget deliberation and adoption. So Tom and Matt.
Well, here we are. It's been quite an exciting process. And I did receive some questions about whether or not we could add a guidance counselor to the Memorial School full-time and have there be 2 at Bakey and 2 at Memorial in light of the challenges behaviorally that students are facing. So I do want the board to know that we could, if we did that, it would add about $56,000 to the budget. Matt and I talked, and we would reduce the cost is $106,500. Matt, I'm sorry, I just
106,000.
thanks.
$106,650.
Thank you. So we took 50,000. We thought that if you wanted to do that, we would take 50,000 out of insurance and then add $50,000, 56,600 in.
Yeah, so the total will be 56,650.
Thank you. So what we would need from the board, if you would like to do that, is to motion to add that money to the budget, motion to reduce the health insurance line by $50,000, and then adopt a budget that reflects that amount that Matt would read to you for the motion. Conversely, we could also leave the budget as is and then just approve it and or we can amend it at the board's leisure on other items as well. But I just wanted to give an update that, you know, we are at about 280 students and a little over 330 students at Bakey, 280 at Memorial. The national average for school counseling, or the national recommendation from the ASCA Foundation, their professional group is the Association of School Counselors. They recommend 250 to 1 per school counselor. Where if we add 2 full-time counselors to each school, we'll be significantly over that recommendation. However, there are significant behavioral concerns about students getting adjusted to school, and the staff do feel that the positions would be beneficial. The way we have it structured now is that there would be 1 counselor at Bakey one counselor at Memorial, and then a counselor that works at Bakey 4 days a week and at Memorial 1 day a week, because there's more students, and students in kindergarten and first grade have more difficulty transitioning in. They're learning how to do school. So we tried to be conservative with the budget and make it so that we'd be closer to roughly 250 to 1. I'm not saying that this is, I'm saying that this is a board decision. I can live with the budget as I presented it. We certainly appreciate any additional help that we can receive if the community could bear the burden of that cost. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Why don't I read out the budget amounts before and after the counselor? So beforehand, the superintendent's recommended budget was $39,444,568.51. It represents a 1.84% increase over the prior year. If you add the $56,650, it would now be $39,501,218.51, and that represents a 1.99% increase over this current year.
What was the first number again?
The first number was $39,444,568.51, or 1.84% increase.
Thank you.
All right. Do I have any motions?
Okay, can I make a motion to
Recommend to talk it over.
talk it over?
I think we have to have a
You have to have a motion.
motion
Right. So
before we can have.
which amount do you want a
discussion.
motion, and then it needs to be seconded, and then we can discuss.
have a discussion.
Okay, I want to make a motion to approve the budget.
Recommend.
To recommend the budget as originally stated of $39,444,568.51.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion.
So I was in favor of adding another counselor. Working in the mental health field, I can see the struggles that are happening on a daily basis. My concern is if you have one counselor for 250 kids and that counselor is out sick, or if there's a situation, I know here in the high school, they have plethora of staff, and there are multiple times where kids are not actually able to get special ed. I'm not counseling services. I'm just concerned, especially for the younger kids, especially a lot of these kids have not been in traditional school due to COVID. I really feel like we do need that counseling support at the younger levels.
Thank you.
Can I ask a
Well,
question?
okay.
Yeah.
So based on what Heather just said, so is that what we're hearing from so the guidance counselor would be added at Bakey predominantly? Yes. That was the proposition.
In the proposed superintendent's proposed budget,
Yep.
we had a full-time counselor at Bakey, a full-time counselor at Memorial, and a third counselor that would be at Bakey 4 days a week and Memorial 1 day a week.
Yep.
The proposal that's being brought forward now would have 2 counselors at both buildings.
Well, no, the proposal that she just asked for was this original.
I'm sorry, that's the original. The question was, did you want to add another counselor?
Make it 4.
Right.
Can I?
Yeah.
So I don't really feel super strongly one way or the other, but I guess my reasoning for not proposing to put it in the budget is that I'm not sure what type of assistance, help, I'm not sure what the right word is, these students need. And I'm not sure if a guidance counselor is the appropriate thing or not. I'm not in the profession, so I can't really say. But when we had roundtable discussions with the administrators, in particular the principals at the elementary school level, and when the question was asked if we could wave a magic wand, what would you add? It was not a guidance counselor. I'm not saying that they said we don't want it, but I'm just saying I feel like there are other things that they see as a higher need. And also, again, I'm not an expert in this, but is the guidance counselor the appropriate thing for what some of these, do we need to be, should we be earmarking that money that maybe we need to get a social worker in or that type of thing? So, that's why I was proposing to not add it. And obviously the big overarching thing over everything is we have a teacher contract we're trying to pass, but I don't think it's a huge amount that really sways that much.
Yeah, and I guess I had similar questions as well, because I also heard the same thing. When we asked Memorial, when my team asked Memorial, again, if you could wave a magic wand, what do you need? It wasn't a guidance counselor, it was technology. So I guess that's where I was like, okay, well, if that wasn't the like, I have to have this, like, I guess I didn't feel as strongly. And I also question what Moore is questioning. Is it really a guidance counselor? Is it a social worker? Is it getting our paraprofessionals trained in de-escalation techniques so they can react in the moment instead of having to find a guidance counselor that may already be busy with something and they can't really react in the moment to help in the situation? What truly is the most appropriate person to have, I guess, or people to have to help support them. I don't know if adding a guidance counselor, because the other thing is when we added these guidance counselors, they were added through ESSER funds. And I remember the discussion because I was on the board at the time, and it was these positions will end when the funding goes away. And that was the way it was stipulated and stated, that they're only here while we have the funding from the ESSER funds. So we're not following through 100% because we're adding one back that we didn't have before. I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue with that. I struggle a little with adding a second one on when we specifically said these will end when the funding ends. Because, also when you're adding staff, when you add a position, you have to keep filling the position. When you have someone that has been on, with the school district long enough, they become tenured. It's harder to let someone go. And we don't know how long this impact will be. Is it going to be another year, another 2 years, another 3 years? And then are we not going to need them anymore? But then we have this position that's in the budget that's funded. And how do we then not continue? You know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot. My brain has been really swirling and whirling, and I don't know the right answer. There's a lot. Yeah.
If we stayed with the proposed 3, right, what would our ratio be? You said 250-1 is a national recommendation. Well, you said, is it the national recommendation?
It's
or
the
standard
it's the
or average?
recommendation by the American School Counseling Association is 250-1. The enrollments at Memorial estimate to be around 280 students, and the enrollments at Bakey are around 330 to 350. So that's why Bakey, they actually had a phys ed position this year that they reduced to cover the cost of the counselor. So, and we reorganized some things at the high school to help the middle school.
Great.
So there's a complex process that went on to not take more money toward that.
Yeah,
The
that's
ESSER money that went in, went away.
But in
I
theory,
just want to make sure the public knows that
in
transparently.
theory, that's well under 750 kids though,
It is.
which is what the,
That's like
right?
210 kids per guidance counselor.
It is, except that the Bakey school, because of the age of the kids,
it's weighted, right?
needs more, it's weighted more toward them on purpose.
Which makes sense, the 4-1.
Yeah.
Right? So the distribution makes sense.
Yes.
But I think the total, right?
And I'm not saying we don't need to look at finding ways to help support.
Sure.
Like, not saying that at all. I just wonder, there are a lot of free trainings out there that we could get for our paras to help them with de-escalation techniques, other trainings. you know, and I know there's a lot of in the moment behavior issues that, you know, if there are paras that are trained that can help deal with it right away, it might be more beneficial all around.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's, you know,
Operationalize.
something we could look into as well.
I know that Dr. Kennett is looking extensively at para training regardless of the guidance decision because it's really a separate department. So school counseling is for the whole student population. Para support is typically for special education students and
But they're in the classroom.
right,
so
they
in
are. No, I agree.
situations,
Yep.
They can help with a
Right.
de-escalation type situation.
Yep.
those behavior issues.
My feedback on that would be even if you did hire another school counselor, training for paras is critical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
It's a 100% must need.
Yeah.
Must do, must have.
Any other comments?
I would agree that we stick with the original budget amount. I think we'd be at half the ratio with the
Yeah.
addition, right?
Mhm.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be a benefit, but I do remember, and I wasn't on the board, but I do remember Jim and Jamie aggressively speaking about once you add it, it doesn't go away. And I remember that conversation.
Right.
I think we need to stick with what we committed to.
Right.
If we're looking to add it and we only need to find 50,000, I would ask respectfully. I know everybody worked hard on the budget, maybe find it somewhere else.
Mhm.
If we're going to add money for anything, I would add money for facilities. My understanding is we're about to deplete most of our reserves for what's needed within the district, and there's
Yep.
no money left.
Yep.
And there's nothing really in the budget.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
And I want to echo Rick's concern that this there's a lot going on that I can't say publicly. I'll simply say that two things have to go in the budget next year so that everyone is clear and I'm on the record, on the mic saying this. Number one, there has to be a capital fund that is set up to fix things. Roofs, windows, safety. It can't always be the facilities revolving fund. We've done really, really well to manage that and to not have to ask for that. This is the last time I can do that. And I did it solely because the teacher's contract has to pass. That's why I did it. It's going to be tough to get through it for another year, but we're going to do it. Second is that we absolutely have to have a technology line that's well funded. School, if you want to see a school stop, turn off the internet and the printer. Just can't happen. And the internet is accessed by the devices. We're telling kids to put their cell phones away. They have to have Chromebooks. We're using CKLA, which has Amplify, which is a huge online remediation tool that is very effective for teachers. Kids need access. So my message to everyone is we have been incredibly hardworking to get this to come in at 1.8%. And hopefully once I can be public about what's going on with other negotiations, I can share how the picture all comes together. But this budget is a critical part of that all working. And it is very, very carefully constructed as if we're trying to thread three needles simultaneously.
I would just like to thank you all for taking the time and reviewing. I will, agree, to be a solid united front. I will move forward with this budget, but I did want to at least have this conversation.
Thank you,
because
Heather.
I do concern about, my job. My job's always been about promoting mental health and making sure that kids get what they need. And I agree, like, do we need to look at a school social worker or some other things?
Mhm.
Because I do think there is going to become a time where we're going to need more of that.
I don't think it's a question of whether or not the ask was just. I mean, it's the right thing. It's just,
No, we have other, we
Well,
have to be fiscally responsible too.
We can also do what Rick said, which is a legitimate and valuable point. As we progress through the year, if the budget is adopted as presented and we see what happens with all the different pieces, we might be able to find some money. It's $50,000 more dollars on a $39,400,000 budget. We might be able to fund another guidance counselor at Memorial by just working with the budget. I just can't promise that today.
Mhm.
I need to see what happens with the roof at Memorial. I need to see what we have for year-end funds. I need to see what happens with technology. I don't think we have to close the door on this today. What I'm hearing is you all saying, we don't want to close the door. We just don't want to add to the budget. That's what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
So why don't we agree to have an update about it in March
Yeah, I think that's a
fine.
great
before
idea.
contracts are issued and we
Yep.
can talk.
And we all want to know that that is the solution. We all know
Right.
that there's an
Yeah.
issue. We want to know that's the right solution.
Right.
for the issue.
Yeah, I would have to say that I've been quiet about that, but I will say this. School counseling, I'm a school counselor. I'm a certified school counselor. I worked at the middle school and high school levels. It is, if it's done right, it's amazing. And the way that when I say it's done right, the school counselors are running small groups, they're meeting with students individually, they're building behavior plans with kids, they're working proactively with parents, families, and teachers to work on behaviors. They're implementing the work of Dr. Green and the collaborative and proactive solutions model, which is incredibly effective, and research has shown that it works when it's done right. I have no question, no problem with either hiring a school counselor or a social worker. The question for me isn't the title, it's the effectiveness of the individual in the role. And the truth is that getting school counselors from certification perspective is much more likely than a social worker because they make more money in the private sector. So it's tricky to get a school social worker, but I don't think that we have to be married that it's a school counselor or a social worker. It could be one or the other depending on the applicant. And we could even advertise it as both and then interview the people that apply and then choose someone. I'm more interested in hiring the smartest, most creative people and then training them than I am about their specific certification or title.
Mhm.
Right.
So agree to update in March.
I think that's great.
Okay,
I'm
great.
fine.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion. We will vote on the budget as originally proposed, the $39,444,568.51 for an increase of 1.84%. All in favor? Jeremiah,
You good.
Maura, Micah, myself, Heather, Ken. Okay, all opposed?
I'm just gonna abstain.
Okay. So abstention for Rick. Okay. All right. We agreed to move second public comment to after. So if there is any public comment. Right.
Pam Brown, Kingston. I just want to thank all of you for the work you're doing. I don't think people appreciate how much time you devote to school board duties. It's not just the meetings, but there are many hours you spend outside of these meetings preparing and going to subcommittee meetings as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Pam.
Thanks for what you do, all of you on the budget committee as well. All right. Okay, it looks like that's it. So next meeting agenda, next Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be held on Wednesday, December 13th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Sanborn Regional High School Library. Next budget committee meeting will be held on Thursday, November 30th, tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. in the Sanborn Regional High School Library. And now we will look for a motion to go back into non-public.
Okay. We'll go back into non-public session RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, CK.
Second.
Great. All right, roll call in. Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah.
Yes.
Maura.
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And myself, yes. All right. Anybody need a 5-minute
Logging in.
break or we
Molly's gonna like that.
good? Okay, we are back live. Do I have any motions?
I make a motion to seal the minutes in perpetuity from our non-public session number 1.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
I make a motion to seal the minutes in perpetuity for non-public session number 2.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay.
I would like to make a motion to authorize the chair to sign the Seacoast Classical Academy lease.
Second.
Great. All right. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Great.
And I would like to make a motion to award Petra Paving the paving contract required in relation to the Seacoast Classical Academy lease agreement for the parking lot and the safety loop in front of the building. and to fund up to half of the cost with a cap of $50,000 to be withdrawn from the facilities use revolving fund.
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, if there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Oh.
What?
Oh, we did second.
We did.
Did first.
We
and
did
second.
first and second.
All right, adjourned.